Are you ready?
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight the After Sesh podcast is proud to present to you your award-winning, self-appointed award-winning hosts. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Aaron and Adam back again for one more episode. How the fuck is everyone getting on? It's been way too long since we've seen this.
Oh, mate. Way too long. Partly my fault. Mainly my fault.
You being a bit under the weather actually just allowed me to creep my laziness back into it. Like, oh, you know what? If you're sick, man, I'm just too tired to do it.
A bit under the weather, mate. I was in bleeding bits.
You were in a jocker, but I didn't want to take your steam away from you there. I'll let you tell the people what was up with you if you'd like.
Well, at the time we're recording this day 2 weeks ago, I started coming down with cold-like symptoms. And then for that week, I had a cold, but I hadn't got a runny nose. I had a cold, but like mild symptoms. And then last weekend, I started getting, late that week, I started getting a mild cough. And then I started getting worse and worse and worse, along with the cold symptoms. And then last Wednesday, I was in bits. Thursday, I was a goner. Like, I'm not one to go to the doctor, but Thursday, I had to call a doctor. I don't know online.
From what I know, you're not even one to take bleeding medicine or antibiotics either. No. A paracetamol is alien to this fella.
No, like if I'm sick or whatever, I don't go to the doctor. I don't take medicine. But I was that bad last week. I had to go to the doctor, and I was done online. Have you ever heard of My Clinic, yoke?
I actually haven't. No.
So you go onto it and you can book appointments online, and you can video call a doctor. So I booked mine for the next day, and video called in the morning, and went like this basically, doing a video call with him, and went through everything with him on the phone for about 20 minutes with him, and he gave me a prescription all over it online. I went to collect it, and that was it. But that medicine that I took knocked the bollocks out of me. Jesus Christ. I took it, and in the space of an hour, I passed it when I was drowsy, and I think I voice recorded you. I listened to it back. I was like, yeah, you. I sound like
it was in English anyway. I know you're not much of a Gaelgore.
No, but like for me to go to the doctor or take medicine just shows how bad I was. And then I've done about bleeding 20 antigen tests, all came back negative. So I said, fuck this, I'm booking a PCR test. Booked one for the Friday, went for that, and came back negative. So I must have had a new disease that was never invented, because it knocked this stuff out of me. Jesus Christ. And then
let us all remember, though, there were diseases around before COVID-19, and there'll be plenty around after.
Yeah. Like, we even tried recording last week, but like I was still a bit coffee. There's a new word for it.
Under the weather, probably. Yeah. The best way to say that.
Yeah. Don't know where coffee came from.
But, coffee, yeah. Do you want a coffee? Bring me my coffee.
No, but I tried. I thought I was feeling better, but listening to it back, it was a good episode, but just with all the coughing and all that, and it wasn't worth uploading for the sake of it. You know, do good content.
That's it, exactly. And it's only the best content that we want to provide to everyone else. And I wouldn't mind, how funny would it have been, right? The complaints that we would have got back off people. It's like every time you coughed, it felt like someone was whispering in my ear.
I might now put it in here now. I might cough the odd time like I am about to now. That's literally all I am. The odd cough like that every now and again, but it's not as bad as last week. But I'm sick 2 weeks this day.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Don't know what's wrong with me, but come here. I'm seeing your beautiful face again, so I'm happy.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's lovely. And seeing your beautiful face again really, really, really makes my Monday.
Come
here, bro. There's so many things to get through. What is it?
Telling dad jokes. We have a lot to get through, but we need to get through all this first.
Yeah, dead right. So you may as well start us there, since you wanted to jump on the dad jokes. So let me know.
See,
what's your dad joke?
I was going to use the one from last week because it's an absolute belter, but I don't think it'll get the same reaction.
It is a belter. You probably will, because it's not like I can remember it.
But I'll give you two. I'll give you the one from last week because no one else heard it, and then I'll give you another one on top of that bonus one.
Okay.
As a favour.
Sounds good to me.
2 dad jokes for the 2 weeks you missed. Sorry. So the one from last week was when David Beckham scored, I'd drink Becks. When Skull scored, I'd drink Skull. Thank fuck David Seaman was a goalkeeper. That's the one from last week.
Still funny.
So, I think it's the same reaction as last week. Last week was like a proper reaction, but it's still a belter.
It is. Do you want one of mine?
Yeah, go on, let you go first. Second, well, basically first.
Okay. Well, take me shot, right? My grief counselor died the other day, and he was so good at his job, I didn't give a bollocks.
I don't get it.
So, it's okay. It's okay. Hopefully, someone. If I explain it, it's going to make it even more unfunny. So I'm not going to do it.
I'm sorry. Right, my one for this week is I got offered a threesome by 2 toy girls. I said, don't know. I said, come on, it'd be like winning the lotto. They weren't wrong. We had 6 matching balls. And on that note, let's move on.
Yours are much funnier than mine. I have another shit one for you.
All right, go on. Another bonus one. Just to keep everyone happy.
Okay. Come here, man. As I get older, I think back at all the people I've lost over the years. I started to think to myself that a career as a tour guide was never a good idea.
If that's a dad joke and a half. Thank God I didn't drink this before you said it.
Get that down there before James Milner comes along and robs your Rodina on you.
But as you've been doing the past episode or two, my end of the podcast is not sponsored by Tesco Still Water.
Okay. Good to know. Because our podcast is definitely not sponsored by Schweppes Ginger Ale.
I thought that was a bottle of piss for a minute.
No, it's delicious. It's Schweppes Ginger Ale. Perfect for your Jemmy.
It's like you just got locked in the shed and you're start pissing in a bottle.
You know what? No comment.
Is that why you're wearing a hat?
Maybe. No, that's a grey hat, man. So, like, in fairness, that would be the worst thing to hold liquids in. Right. I believe we have a few this or that's, do we not yet?
I actually came prepared this week, I do. I'll let you go first.
Did you? Oh, fuck you, because I didn't come prepared. You go first.
I'll start off easy. Nike or Adidas?
Huh?
Nike or Adidas? Adidas.
Oh, that's actually really tough because, like, jerseys wise and all, like, you know, like training tops and everything, I'd go with Adidas all the way. But runners, I'd go with Nike.
And a follow up to that, Adidas or Adidas?
Adidas.
Nah, Adidas.
Okay, I'll go Adidas.
But to this day, I still spell it in my head. After dinner, I did a shit. That's how I spell Adidas.
I did actually. Oh, yeah, sure.
After dinner, I did a shit. The fourth letter of each word. Yeah. Move on. My one. No, your one.
Not bad. Right. The original draw from today for the Champions League or the new draw from the Champions League as a Liverpool fan?
I'm happy enough with the new one. It's actually a decent match for us. Salzburg was like
PSG, isn't it?
No, we got
Is it Inter or PSG?
We got Inter.
You got Inter, and beforehand it was Salzburg, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
they'd hammer you.
Salzburg only won. So the first draw was PSG United, Benfica Madrid, Villarreal City, Atletico Bayern, Salzburg Liverpool, Chelsea Lille, Inter Ajax, and Sporting Juve. And then the actual draw was Salzburg Munich, which is Salzburg were fucked either way. Sporting City, Benfica Ajax.
Yeah,
Chelsea got Lille again. Because Chelsea had Lille or Madrid in the
I know, and Abramovich finally left. Yeah.
Paid them off.
I was going to say, Abramovich basically, see when they got Lille again, I guess he released the parents and the rest of the family of the people that were taking the halls out. Like,
yeah,
there's no way they got Lille, man. There's no way they would have got Lille twice. It's a bit too much for me. Like.
And then just finish off Atletico
United. Definitely a few balls missing from that pot.
Yeah,
Atletico United, yeah, fucking hell. I can't wait for that, man. The battle of the dives. Who can hit the deck faster? Atletico players or United players? That's going to be fucking deadly to see.
Yeah, both teams on shift form, so
Man, that's it. Two teams that aren't on the best of form and two teams that are very, very good at the dark arts of football.
and then to finish it off, Villarreal Juve, which I think it would be a good match. Oh, probably evenly matched.
My pick for that. Do you want to actually? Do you know what? Rather than going with the rest of this or that, unless you have a few more you want to ask me, because I'm totally underprepared for this. I wouldn't mind, in line with mine, if we go for a few predictions.
I'll give you one more, and then we go predictions.
That's fine with me. Yeah, work away.
So would you rather give the first 99% of a blowjob or the last 1%?
That's horrifying. That's a horrifying. I'd rather it was a gun getting put in my mouth personally. Jesus, mate.
Oh, what about your answer? There's no getting out. You have to answer it.
There is no getting out of it. That's horrible. That's horrible. I just don't want the ending, really, is it? I don't want any of it. I
have my answer, but I want to know yours.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna rock, paper, scissors it. That doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna eeny, meeny, miny, moe this motherfucker. Yeah?
Right, go on. Go on. Dun, 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 dun. All we got for lands and
it's the last bit. That's what eeny, meeny, miny, moe is giving me. Is the last. I know it's the one part. I didn't want either of them. Oh.
Well, if you had to pick, I'd rather go for the first 99%.
Once again, I'd rather the gun get put in my mouth instead.
If you think of it this way, the last 1%, they're doing the action and getting the consequences.
Yeah, but like,
it's still
the first 90% is 9 times longer of activity.
Depends how good you are.
It still works out if it's 90% versus the rest of the 10%. It still works out at 9 times longer.
No, 99%.
Or the last 1%.
Yeah, so literally up until you can feel the.
No, Aaron, I'm going to cut this conversation off here because children might be listening. And I never got to say at the start, this is a post-watershed production. This will contain scenes and storylines that might be unsuitable for children, and some of the content might be unsuitable to other viewers. I feel like I had to say that there, even though it's way too fucking late. It's like saying spoiler alert after you tell someone the end of the film.
Right, do you want to go through with the predictions for each match before we get into...
I reckon, right, Chelsea will go through against Lille. I'm going to pick my dark horse to be Villarreal to go through ahead of Juventus.
Yeah.
Liverpool will go through over Inter Milan.
Yeah.
And Inter are on good form, the top of the league.
Yeah.
I reckon then it's what are the other games? Bayern Munich are through. They're through regardless. It's the last 16 fixture. That just when did they lose them?
And City are beating Sporting.
City will beat Sporting Lisbon, yeah.
Benfica,
Ajax. I'd go with Ajax. I think Erik ten Hag is an absolutely amazing manager. Benfica have done really well this year, especially in the Champions League. They've gotten some good results. But if you have to look at it objectively, their best results came against a piss-poor Barcelona team.
Yeah, true.
And Benfica are still cursed as well. You have to realise that. They haven't won a European trophy. They haven't won a European trophy in decades.
Have they ever won it?
They're basically they're the Mayo. What Mayo are to the Sam, Benfica are to European competitions. No, that's genuine fact, man. You can look it up. It's back to the last time that they won it. Something happened and they were cursed by either one of the players or like the outgoing manager, something like that. And genuinely, since then they've never won it. They haven't won either the Europa League, old UEFA Cup, anything since the last time they won it. I'm actually going to search that up now if you don't mind and just see what I can find. See when the last time Benfica actually won a European competition.
And while you're looking that up, what do you think of Atletico and United?
Oh, Atletico all the way.
All the way? No chance for United?
There's always a chance. As I said, they're both masters of the dark arts. It all depends on how Ralph Rangnick gets them playing. But at the end of the day, I know consistently that Atletico are a very good side. Even if they aren't showing it this year, they are a really good side. And in the Champions League, they always tend to perform. They're a very hard side to turn over, either home or away.
Yeah.
So it's a thing of, I think they're more, the players that are more capable of doing it, that have been more of a unit for years, where United have very, very good players who have been kind of thrown together this year, and they're probably going to need another few years to get that balance right. But Atletico have the balance there, and I think that's why they're going to take it from me. What do you think?
They were in our group, and we bet them in both legs, but the away match was, I think we won 3-1, I think.
3-1, I think, but Griezmann got sent off, didn't he, in the away?
Yeah, and like they actually played well at home, so that's going to be a tough. I think Atletico beat United in the fourth leg. I think they beat them 1-0, and then it'd be 0-0 in the second leg. Because I can't see United scoring, because Atletico is so hard to break down. Like we struggle to break them down, and like we're
Jan Oblak between the sticks as well. That guy is an absolute mountain of a man. Like,
yeah,
he's an incredible footballer.
And then the last one is PSG and Real Madrid.
See, this is going to be amazing, right? You're going to see Sergio Ramos kick a few of his old teammates if he actually gets on the pitch, because I'm very surprised he hasn't really gotten much of a game at all really this year.
He's been injured.
He has, and that stemmed back to his time at Real Madrid. Even to last season, he didn't get as many minutes as you think he would have. Pretty sure his last game for Madrid may have been in March. That's how long he's really been injured. He's been dealing with a lot of different things there. But I'll have to go with, I don't know. That's the one that kind of I'm struggling with, because PSG have the players to beat any team in that competition, but they don't seem to.
They're not a team.
They're not a team. No, they're individuals, but not a team. Yeah. And I honestly don't know. There's not one that I'd actually put my money behind on that one. I think that's one I'm just gonna have to sit there and see what happens. But I could see Real Madrid taking it more so than PSG. But then again, Messi does love his. He used to love an appearance in El Clasico, and it's fucking the Bernabeu is probably like a second home to that fella at this stage, and the amount of goals he scored there. So
yeah, like imagine towards Madrid, but I don't know.
No, I get you.
So you find that on Benfica there?
I'm still trying to look it up here. It says they won 2 in a row, right? But it won't tell me what year they won it, which is really annoying, because all I typed into Google was when was Benfica's last European trophy. And the first thing that's coming up is on the 28th of February, 1904, after a football training session. I don't care about that backstory. Like, this isn't like, it's not a Netflix documentary. I asked you a question, like, this is gas. Anyway, we can come back to that another time, but there is a curse on Benfica, basically, and I just don't have the information to hand to discuss it properly. What are your opinions, though, on the Champions League draw? It's a bit of a calamity, wasn't it?
How they fucked it up. Like, it's the biggest club tournament, and they managed to fuck it up.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the last time they fucked up like that. It has to be redrawn.
Oh, come here. I'm just waiting on the Ballon d'Or, like, next year for them to go, Robert Lewandowski is the winner. And then someone runs on stage like, I'm sorry.
Jorginho.
We called out the wrong name. Once again, it's Messi. Like, I can't wait for that to happen.
Messi.
But, look, man, I don't know. There was a bit, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know what to make of it. It was a bit kind of too funny for me. Like, I was sitting there in work, took lunch, turned around, and all I hear is, well, the draw is going to have to take place again. I didn't even realize it happened in the first place.
Yeah, I can't find that on Benfica, so I'll move on, but fuck them.
We'll move on from that anyway. But come here, sticking to sport though, something amazing happened at the weekend, and it was so amazing that when I seen Newcastle United get beaten 4-0 by Leicester, I couldn't have given a flyer. Do you want to tell everyone what it is, since you're already prematurely celebrating?
Max, super max, super max. Oh, mate.
So, Max Verstappen. Absolute legend. Same age as me. That puts that into perspective, or at least it should for everyone here. At 24 years of age, not even driving the fastest car on the grid, he's after coming home with the Drivers' Championship. And for me, that is one of the most impressive things I've ever heard.
Me. I don't know. Like, after the season,
you're a huge fan of Max Verstappen. Like,
yeah.
I know that for a fact. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up, because if you're going to get a genuine emotional response from anyone, it's got to be this focus across me.
Let's just say when he crossed the line, a few tears were shed. But I have to be neutral. He deserves to win the title this year, but I'm on the ropes whether he deserves to win the race. No, obviously he did deserve it, but people are saying that it's fixed now. What they're saying is See the way the lapped cars were able to unlap themselves at the end. They don't have to do that, but
No, they didn't. But Bernie Eccleston actually was talking about it, and he said there is a precedence there for that being done before, and having the race end as a race is the most important thing. So he sees absolutely no problem with that. And he's a former chief executive of Formula One. He came out and said that, like, the way the race finished, it was the appropriate way to finish the race. You always want the race to finish as a race. You don't want it to finish under the safety car procedures. And I have to say, I'm incredibly grateful, not because I wanted Max to win. I did want Max to win, I'm not going to lie. But not just because of that. I'm incredibly grateful that the crew were able to move Latifi's car.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's another thing that people are giving out about. Under a safety car, if cars unlap themselves, they need another lap then before the race restarts. That's another thing.
To get them back to their original positions.
Yeah. And the fact that only half of them were unlapped, and people are saying, well, Carlos Sainz wasn't behind Max, and he wasn't able to fight for P2. But look, no matter if Sainz was behind Verstappen, he wasn't going to catch him. The two lads ran out. Like, there's no better way to do it. Like, if it's the other way around and Max was out in fourth and Hamilton pitted and all this, and it ended that way, I would have been heartbroken. But at the same time, like, rules,
it wouldn't have been satisfying.
No, like, safety car is a safety car. Like, someone said to me that it's like Liverpool winning 11-0 and then the rest saying next goal winner. They're two different sports. You can't compare the two like that. Safety car is safety car. Cars bunch up on the safety car. That's the way it's always been. So
yeah, I'll give you an example there, bro. Look at Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva years ago, right? Silva hadn't been beaten in the UFC at this stage, and Chael Sonnen dominated him and beat him over 4 rounds. And in the 5th round, what happened? He got triangle choked and went to sleep. Do you know what I mean?
Sport.
So does Chael Sonnen win the fight because he tapped out in the 5th and won all 4 other rounds? It's not how it works. Hamilton might have led for the entire race, and I'm not even sure he did because I only seen it from about, I think it was 22 laps in.
Yeah, he led from the 4th corner.
Yeah, and even at that, man, I thought that was like when I seen the replay of what happened there, I was looking at it with like someone, like, it was like the telly had 10 heads. I was like, all right, hang on. Last week, Max got penalised for something less than that. Hamilton full on went off the track and kept going.
But apparently,
now, what's he supposed to do? Go into a wall?
Yeah. But apparently he gave whatever advantage he gained, he gave it back at the end of the lap, so I don't know.
Oh, see, I'm not sure because I missed the start of the race, as I said. So, but from what I've seen at the end, man, I've never been happier watching a Formula One race. And Canada a few years ago when Jenson Button came through the entire grid to win on a rainy day, just as Vettel slipped at the very end. That was amazing. But this weekend trumped it. 2
things before we go off the topic. 1, Checo Perez, what a legend. Held up Hamilton as much as he could. Gave Verstappen a chance. Legend of a teammate. And secondly, I was debating about turning it off, but I was like, nah, it's the last race. I might as well like be gracious and watch everything and whatever. Yeah. Then I seen the safety car, I was like on the edge of my seat, leaning forward, like, holy shit. They was like, get the car off, get the car off.
I know, then, man. I was shouting at the telly.
And they were talking to Christian Horner about saying the lap cars are not going to lap themselves. I was like, for fuck's sake, typical. And then they were lapping. I literally sat at the edge of my seat. I was like, go on. And then
did you hear Christian Horner? Did you hear what he said? He's like, the lap cars will not be like getting lapped or whatever, right? And he just goes, what? What is this?
No, the best was Toto Wolff.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, that
was hilarious.
But
that was hilarious.
When they start racing again, I've never been so excited for a lap or a race. Like, I was actually glad I watched it to the end, and when he overtook him into turn 5, and then when Hamilton got slipstream and nearly caught him, then
oh man, my heart was in me mouth. You know, when Max first got past him, I was like, yes, hold it, you held it. And then, as you said, turn 5, man, was squeaky bum time because Hamilton looked like with the slipstream though. You are dead right, man. That was squeaky bum time. Hamilton looked like he was about to shoot up there.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful that Max did it. And as I said, bro, 24 years of age, same age as myself, man. And I've never been happier for a professional athlete in my life. Like that, that's amazing.
Like even Aidan said, like, what's the point of watching? Like, it's just the point of the sport. But she said she'd rather watch that over football because the noise of the car just sounds good. I was like, right, fair enough.
But there you go. Who was it? My mum and dad actually years 20 years ago went to Monza for one of the Grand Prix in Monza, and they said they were handed earplugs at the very start of it. Now they weren't exactly sitting at the side of the track, like not they weren't in the pit lane or anything. They were all given earplugs, and even with the earplugs, all you can hear is every few seconds. It's like Postman Pat years ago going fucking now. Right? Mental. They actually met what's his name? Came in on a fucking helicopter. What's the Matt Lucas, your man out, and David Williams, the guys from Little Britain. Yeah, they met them. They were at the track that day.
I'd love to go to an F1 event. I seen tickets available for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. There were 12 or 1300 for the whole race weekend, including hotels. Like, I'd love to go. Yeah, but
including hotel.
Yeah,
and flights and all.
I don't know about flights, but included the race weekend and the hotel, I think.
Abu Dhabi next year. Podcast at the Sesh live from Abu Dhabi.
One day.
One sweet day. I don't want to take too much away from sport, but do you want to stay on F1 for a while, or what way do you want to go about this? Because there's a lot of things going on in the world at the minute, and there's a few people that I really need to take the piss out of.
Yeah, we've talked about sport for the last 20 odd minutes, nearly half an hour, so I think it's only right that we move on.
Okay.
As much as I'd like to sit here and talk about it, it's only right.
I'll give you a laugh, right? So over the weekend, the US hosted an event, and it was the US government hosted an event, and it was based on, like, say, promoting democracy. And like they tried to invite like as many countries around the world to get like democracy kind of buzz going. So the likes of China wasn't invited, neither was Russia, even though like I won't go any further on that. Basically, what happened was at one stage, the Taiwanese ambassador, let's say the ambassador of Taiwan, was there, because I'm not sure of his exact title, and he'd given a speech, and in that speech, he broke the cardinal rule and said that Taiwan was its own independent nation and not a part of China. And in that very moment, you know what happened?
What?
The country trying to promote democracy. The whole event is planned around promoting democracy. The White House cut the feed. The White House cut the feed of the Taiwanese guy talking about how Taiwan is its own place and its own democracy. And in a week where, like man, do you know what I mean? That's making a show of yourself. Like,
yeah,
they cut it off because their friends who are not democratic, the communists, might over in the LCCP, they might not be too happy about that. And like, there's good reason for it. Like, the Chinese believe that, just like Hong Kong, that Taiwan is a part of, well, it's that they believe that it's theirs. But when China became the China that we kind of know of today, that happened through revolution, as a lot of countries were formed through revolution, and the losing side actually fled to the island of Taiwan and set up their own government. So that's why they're considered two different places. But over the last few years, just like with Hong Kong last year, what happened with Vans, and I think it was a Blizzard had a gaming event on. A guy said free Taiwan or free Hong Kong. His prize money was taken away from him. Vans had to get rid of the idea for a shoe brand. They had this like opened up, like a competition opened up before during the Hong Kong thing that was going on last year. I don't really know how to describe it without it was getting demonetized or taken down, because don't know enough about it.
Demonetized? What are you shouting about?
Well, yeah, we aren't even monetized in the first place. I'll say whatever I like. The king is back, bitches.
Fuck shit, arse, girl, strength, fuck.
That arse, exactly. So they had the Vans, right? This contest, Vans had a contest basically for any fan of Vans could like make their own design, put it forward, and it'd get voted on. And the best one, basically, whoever got the most votes would get the runners made from.
Yeah.
Or they'd be like the next release by Vans. And I don't know, we might be able to put like an image in, like either in the description or even in the part of like the video for this. Vans had to pull the design that won the contest, because apparently it reminded people too much. I'm not going to say who, but you should be able to guess. It reminded people too much of protests going on in Hong Kong. So it's just a bit mental there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the US are hypocrites. And do you want to hear who else they're hypocrites? Yeah. Hang on, let me check 1 second. I want to make sure no one's listening to me. Am I bugged? Probably. Right. Basically, this week in the news, one of the most important things that's going down this week, and realistically, regardless of whether you hate him or you love him, everyone should be very, very afraid by the precedents that this is going to set. Julian Assange, his extradition is basically going to go through, so he will be getting extradited to America For anyone that's not aware of who Julian Assange is, you might know him through the company that he ran and was the main publisher of WikiLeaks. Back in 2010, Assange basically, man, do you know much about Julian Assange? Because I've only recently, over the last few years, started to look into him and look into his story. Basically, what he did was he founded WikiLeaks. And do you know anything about WikiLeaks?
No. But you
They're
do
like,
if you start talking about it.
They were like an independent journalism site. So they would go and try find documents and shit like that, like anything that they could find to put out there that wasn't getting put out there by mainstream media, as it's called today, or as Trump says, fake news, right? So Assange basically went, and one of the things that he did, so in 2006, he founded WikiLeaks. In 2010, right, he published a series of leaks that were provided by the US Army intelligence analyst, who was, her name is Chelsea Manning. Have you ever heard of her?
Nope.
Okay. Well, these leaks were like Baghdad airstrike, right? Collateral murder video, Afghan war logs, and Iraq war logs. And another thing called Cablegate, which I'm not too sure about, but the ones that I alluded to before Cablegate are all about war crimes committed by the US in the Middle East during the wars in the early 2000s.
See all the things that you found, that's what has happened or what's
That's what
happen?
has happened. Like, there was
Okay.
footage of drone strikes attacking civilians when they were like, "Oh well, we thought it was Al Qaeda." No, it was clearly civilians holding it was a civilian holding a camera. They thought it was someone holding a mortar. Do you know what I mean? So he published these videos, made it public knowledge that this was happening, and because of that, since around 2010, 2011, the US government has either wanted him arrested or dead or both. What happened was he locked himself away in London in the Ecuadorian embassy, and there was plans made by the US government and intelligence agencies to have him killed in the Ecuadorian embassy after he'd already claimed asylum and been granted asylum.
Jesus.
The only reason that he was fucked out of the Ecuadorian embassy was because he started then releasing documents that incriminated people in the Ecuadorian government. This is how, look, this is, the guy really just did not give a fuck about who he pissed off.
Sounds like it.
He was there to get but he was there to get the truth out. And what I'm trying to say here is he's getting done. What the US want to do to him is getting done on espionage charges, even though he's Australian and not US. He's not a US citizen. It's not about the information that he leaked. Apparently, it's about how he went and got the information. There's hundreds of thousands of documents that were leaked by him and leaked onto WikiLeaks. But the reason that they're going after him is because he's the publisher. So this would be the first time, or one of the first times in recorded history of the United States of America, that the publisher of what's essentially a news site is going to be locked up for the rest of his life. And in my opinion, don't care what anyone says, he's most likely going to be killed in prison.
Oh,
and if anyone thinks that's
suicide as well.
Oh yeah, come here. Jeffrey Epstein, Julian Assange, it will be the Joker next year. He didn't kill himself either. And the thing is with that, the US apparently have made assurances to the UK, who actually have him in Belmarsh prison in the UK. He's sitting in maximum security, man. He's sitting in solitary confinement by himself. He hasn't been convicted of a single crime yet. He's in there nearly 10 years. Can someone tell me, right? I want someone in the comment section to try argue with me on this and tell me how I'm wrong. Because that dude, from what I've seen here, hasn't actually been convicted of any crime. The High Court in the UK previously had overturned the decision to get him sent and extradited to America. That decision has now been overturned again. So they have specific assurances of his safety, and basically said he won't be moved to anywhere that's kind of like shit. They won't put him in a shithole. They'll have him in like good living conditions, up until the point where they find a reason where he doesn't have to be held in these sort of conditions. And I'm gonna put it this way: it's now the 13th of December, 2021. And if he is extradited before the end of 2022, I don't see him making it to the end of 2023. He had a stroke today as well. It was reported in the news. He had a stroke today based on the verdict that was handed down. And it's genuinely down to the pure stress the fella's been put under. Because if you think about it, he knows for a fact he's a dead man walking.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That's it. So look, my thoughts and prayers are with the fella, because he, like, regardless of what they claim he has done, what he's published, everyone is entitled to due process, and that's not what this guy's going to get. So if anyone really does have a proper problem with it, if anyone's resonated with what I've said here, I implore you to go down to the UK embassy and the US embassy. And the UK embassy is it's on Marion Street, I think, in town. The US embassy, we all know, is beside Orson Uteron. Go up there, say to your local politicians, say to your local TDs that you don't understand why Ireland couldn't offer him asylum. All this person is a journalist doing the work that journalists should do. To the point where I know everyone at this stage, it doesn't really trust the media, and it's with good reason. But for someone like MSNBC to come out and say, oh, someone on MSNBC came out and said, so this is a dangerous precedent getting set. It means basically anyone can get locked up for saying stuff. So journalists won't have any protection anymore. So how are they supposed to go and investigate? Journalists in this year, 2 journalists, I'm actually going to get this up here, right? This is to show you the hypocrisy of what's going on right now. The Nobel Prize for Journalism this year was won by 2 people, okay? In the same year, in this year, the Nobel Prize was won by Maria Ressa and Dmitry Muratov for defying governments, for the defying of governments respective in, like, say, the Philippines and Russia to report news that is inconvenient to officials. So the news that they didn't want getting out of the Philippines and Russia, when that was reported on, they got Nobel Prizes. When Julian Assange comments on war crimes and shows people the videos of what the US were doing in the Middle East,
he's in jail for 10 years.
He's basically getting a death sentence.
What's his background? Like, where did he come from?
His background, he was an Australian, I think he was an Aussie hacker. So something along the lines of that, and from there he ended up getting into. There was a movie made about him. I think Benedict Cumberbatch plays him. Don't know if it's any good or not, but you can have a look into it. There's also a guy that we'll actually put the link in the description for. A lot of the information that I did gain on Julian Assange is done through research of, it's done through my own research. But one of the guys that gave me a lot of information, that his name is Jake Tran. He's a YouTuber. Have a look at the video that he has on Julian Assange, and we'll even link in the description below, because it's incredibly insightful as to what's going on. But it's far from the worst and far from the first thing that they've done. I mean, the US, that, like, it isn't right. It's far from the worst and it's far from the first, like, you know. And it's so, like, I know they like to call China out on their bullshit, but they really don't. I think United States of America really needs to be called out on their bullshit sometimes, because they go around like the world's biggest bully. So I'm going to move this up here so you can see the red dot on my head from the sniper outside. You can't catch me.
Yeah, but see what you mentioned him there. Like, he's not the only one that this happened. Like, it's happened to a few people where they get killed from what he said, and it's covered up as an accident or they did it themselves. There's always a cover up to it. I think.
Well, that's it, bro.
There was something, wasn't there, a fella who was about to discover the cure for cancer and he died in an accident then the next day or something?
No idea about that, to be honest, man. But another thing for it is, look at Jamal Khashoggi. One of the reasons that Newcastle United's deal with the Manchester United, with the Saudi Arabians didn't go through for so long was because of the human rights and as human rights fuckeries. I don't know what else to call it. I'm at the losing the word there. But what happened with Jamal Khashoggi? Jamal Khashoggi was working for the Washington Post. He was a journalist from Saudi Arabia. Went into the Saudi Arabian consulate, I believe, in, where was it? It could have been in Turkey or something like that. Don't quote me on it. I'm not too sure exactly what country it is. Went into the Saudi Arabian consulate or embassy. Never came out. But he did. But he was chopped up. Never seen again.
Did he?
No, he was chopped up and never came out of the building. He was literally killed inside by a strike team ordered by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, apparently. So
do you ever see people who try to kill Putin? Or Putin?
No. I've never seen that.
Anyone who's attempted to kill him has died within a few weeks, maybe.
I'd say so, man. It's the Russian president.
He
I tried to kill
so
the Russian president. I get clipped.
Oh
He
my
is.
god.
Well, you look at all the oligarchs around him, like all the money that people got from, like, that work. People that got money from Gazprom, people that got, like, money just from Russia's vast oil reserves. Putin's a former KGB man. He's a scary motherfucker, man. I wouldn't fuck with that dude.
No.
I'm more afraid of Putin than I am of the United States or China, bro.
Well, South Korea or North Korea, where the fuck South Korea?
North Korea can go fat one, but you won't be able to find one there. Man,
you ever listen to the podcast with Joe Rogan and the one from North Korea?
Yeah,
I did.
I actually
did. Podcast.
Man, poor girl, man, looks like, even now, I know she's out of their years, but, like, she looks like malnourished and all, like.
Yeah,
like she's talking about how, like, this. You were saying?
It's because she's never seen like fast food before. Like, she only eats like plants and like insects or
rats
whatever.
And shit.
Yeah, like when she's seeing like a McDonald's or a burger, she's like, what the fuck's that? Like, she didn't know what like proper drink was, what education was. She didn't know like what the outside world looked like. He literally was, could say, in a box all of her
Shoot.
life.
Bro, think about it this way. There's no word for love in the North Korean language.
That's mad.
There's no word for love. She was saying as well, a lot of the things are based around, like their linguistic system, a lot of it is based around, the other way in Ireland, you look Irish, right? If I went, oh my yeah, that's oh my god, or dig witch, God be with you, right? But
Dig
in
witch?
North Korea, yeah, so dig witch, dia is God in Irish.
Oh.
So if I went to you, right, say we're in North Korea, it's not based around, say like God this, blah, 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 blah. It's the supreme leader is like, say, where it'd be Supreme Leader Twitch. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what way to say it because I don't speak fucking North Korean. So, but yeah, that's apparently from what I picked up. That's a lot of it is based around. A lot of the language is based around the Supreme Leader. Do you know what I mean? Like you should show love to the Supreme Leader. That's all.
Everything is based around them. The calendar, the house fire.
It's based around
everything.
the bird, yeah.
Oh my god,
bro, it's mental.
If your gaff burns down and you're not trying to save his picture, your next 3 generations are fucked.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's guilt by association there as well. So if you commit a crime, not only do you go to prison, as you said there, your mother will go to prison, your dad will go to prison, your grandparents, your kids and their kids will grow up in a prison.
Yeah.
Fucking mental, isn't it? See, the world is mad, right? The world is absolutely fucking mental. And one thing I will do is I will always moan about Ireland because Ireland can always get better. It's far from the worst place in the world, but it's far from the best as well. There's some fucked up shit happening here, but it tends to get swept under the carpet. And because I don't have the information or the evidence to hand here, I can't call that out. And all I can do is call out the things that I've seen and the things that I've looked into. And fuck me, there's so much mad shit going on in the world, man. That like if people really focused on something for longer than it takes a hashtag to wear off on Instagram, we might actually get somewhere in terms of finishing this shit off and getting rid of it. You know what I mean? There's too much mad shit though. There's so much mad shit. Like I look at the one thing the Russians have done well, I think. Now obviously they don't like intelligence from within their own country being like, you know, counterintelligence. But they've taken in Edward Snowden. And he's a whistleblower on from the NSA in America.
That man was on Joe Rogan who
he had to do it from an undisclosed location.
Yeah.
So he basically worked for the NSA and leaked to the US populace that they were getting spied on by their own government. And because of that, he's wanted to be dead as well.
Yeah.
Scary.
If he's caught, he's brown bread.
See, that's the thing though. He's sought political asylum in Russia, so that's why he has that. That's why he's fresh. Like he's not. Nothing will ever happen to him. The Yanks know for a fact they can't go into Russia and kill someone because the Russians won't take that.
Yeah.
And God love the Americans. In a few years, they're going to realize the power that they think they have is really after slipping away. They owe a lot of money to a lot of people, bro. A lot of money is owed to them, owed to the Saudis by America. That's why they have arms deals. There's a lot of money owed to the Chinese by America. And believe it or not, the Chinese actually own a lot of ports all over the world, including a few ports in Ireland. Mental, isn't it?
Well, I think we need to wrap this up soon because I am starving.
I was going to say that. I bet you are fucking starving. Plus,
I can smell the burgers.
There going, end that stream now if you want to live.
Yeah, I got the...
You got the old... Look, guys, if you don't hear from me next week and Aaron claims that I'm sick or I've gone missing or gone on holiday, I haven't. I swear. I swear.
On holiday in 2 weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks I can go missing. But come here, guys. As Aaron said, we're going to wrap it up here this week. Thank you all for listening so much, and we're so happy to have been back this week. There was another thing I wanted to bring up. We'll have to save it for another episode because, guys, from myself, Adam, and from Aaron, signing off. Make sure you give us a like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on all of our fucking socials. And can you please click the link in the description and please share it to anyone that you know that you think might have some sort of interest in anything that we discuss. If there's anything you want us to discuss going forward or anything that you thought from tonight's show was a good topic to continue on, let us know. And we'll happily bring you the content that you deserve and that you want.
Don't be afraid of sliding those DMs.
Yeah. I'd even give you me Snapchat.
I'll delete that. So you can have mine.
Did you? I've heard a lot of people have deleted Snapchat lately. But before we get dragged off into another conversation.
That's what next week.
Remember, Anyone ever rings you and asks you who you listen to on the radio, it's Graham and Nathan. Fully charged on Spin 103.8 and sometimes on Today FM.
And on that note, that Sesh has ended. We'll see you hopefully before the end of the new year. And we'll try release an episode before the end of the year. We'll try to get one more in. And I have a little visitor here beside me. Hello, Bingo. Hello, Binks. Hello. Take it easy. Bye.